everyone. Welcome to Mindful Chaos. So, today we are talking about anxiety, which is really famous because I feel like Justin, me, and everyone out there has anxiety. And I have lived with anxiety for quite a long time of my life. So today we kind of got together and chose 5 ways that have served for us and that basically we wanted to give out in order to help you like relieve your anxiety. 5 little tips that will help you get better when very bad moments of anxiety come to you. So, Justin,
Yeah.
how do you think is the first way in which like anxiety can be relieved?
I think probably we need to define first, because for everybody it's a bit different. I guess,
Anxiety.
yeah, the
Okay.
anxiety is a bit different.
Sure.
For me, I get anxious when I I want to do many things. And when things are not being done the way they should be, or at the time they should be, meaning not fast enough, or with the right people, or with the how, like how it's being done. Like all these little stuff kind of gives me a bit like discomfort, anxiety, and then you just want to do it yourself. And I felt like that actually comes from control. Wanted to control things in a certain way and all this and that.
Wanting to control the future.
Yeah, yeah. Or wanted like have a certain outcome that you imagine that it has to be this way or that way. And I met some people, definitely it was like more of a control freak, you know. So that's for me. That's like what brings out anxiety at times for day-to-day stuff. And if you're talking about bigger things like in life, like underlying anxiety, it's like probably not being at a place that you want to be, which is similar, not to control things, but you're like, oh, I should be making this much, or I should be living here, I should be having this type of relationship, X, Y, and Z. But I think all comes down to want. Like, this is, again, the Buddhism talk about the suffering comes from desire. And I'm starting to read more and more into the Buddhism teachings now. So I think it's quite valid for me. Yeah.
So for me, it's quite similar. I feel like anxiety comes from wanting to control the future, from not having an answer in the present and just like continuing to think of the future. So for example, having a problem, you have a debt. And anxiety comes a moment where you feel like you have no answers for that debt and that you have no idea what to do. So you're just like worrying about something that has not quite happened yet. So that's what brings me anxiety. And so basically, I feel like breathing. Breathing is the first most important thing that helps relieve anxiety. The moment I start getting anxious, when you feel like your whole body is like uncomfortable, like how do you feel before going to like breathing?
Yeah.
How does anxiety feel for
Make
you?
you feel? It's just like chest tightness, sometimes stomach upset stomach, headache, tightness in the shoulder, and I could need to get massage. And it's usually just a physiological response that sometimes you cannot pinpoint. Some headache, tightness in the body muscles, chest, stomach issue, and just like fucking restless thought, because trying to find solution and trying to find why the fuck this is not done this way and that way. So that's for me. It's just a bit chaotic.
I think anxiety is different for everyone because I don't feel chest tightness, but I feel like this emptiness in the stomach. I hate that feeling where
Emptiness.
I'm just like,
This is emptiness.
it's like this big hole. I'm
Like
just
hungry?
sitting down and I feel like no, just a big hole,
Oh,
like
interesting.
butterflies.
Yeah.
That feels great.
Yeah.
Imagine
So
the other
opposite
way
of
around.
outside, okay.
So just feeling a big emptiness in the stomach. So now that like for me that's how I have felt like anxiety coming through my life. And now back to breathing. So when I'm starting to feel this, like before even breathing, I feel like it's important to understand what your symptoms for anxiety are. So you write down, like whenever you start feeling anxious, just write down whatever it is that you're feeling. Like for you it's chest tightness, just in order for like later on in the future you'll be able to identify it and be like, oh, okay, I'm having anxiety right now, So later on, when you do start like making conscious that you're having an anxiety attack or that like anxiety is coming up on you, the first thing you need to do is have a deep breath and breathe in 5 and exhale in 5. And do that until you're like a little bit more calmed down. And then we have other techniques. But that is the one that helped me throughout anxiety attacks.
I think to kind of expand a bit more on the breathing side, because I've experienced that a lot. It's like when you, in the past, it's basically shallow breathing when you're like kind of don't know what you're doing. You're not doing conscious in and conscious out. And the thing that you talked about, like box breathing, is pretty good. And box breathing, just imagine it's literally a box. So when you breathe in 3, hold 3, exhale 3, exhale, like hold 3. You can also do 5. So that's it. Inhale 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 5, breathe out 5, and then hold 5, and it just cycles. So that's actually scientifically proven that box breathing does reduce anxiety and lowers the heart rate, and it actually just forces your body to kind of, I guess, reclimatize or kind of readjust the rate of breathing, you know? And there's also other way that I got famous, which is the Tumo breathing from Wim Hof. Well, Wim Hof breathing technique is also different. We can all share all this in the show notes, and we'll probably do a more extended blog post on this. And Wim Hof breathing, it's like inhale like as much as you can, 30 times. The fifth one, the last one, you exhale everything, hold as long as you can, and then you breathe in, hold, and then starts again. So that like helps a lot. But that one, I think you probably need somebody to supervise, and if you want to jump into the water. Breathing, I can also think about just there's so many different ways. I think there's another one. It's like 4, 7, 8 is breathing 4, hold 7, and breathe out 8. But we'll just put all this down and kind of share it to people. And if anybody knows any ways to quickly get you into a more calmer state, then yeah, like I think that just does help, right?
Yes, totally.
And the second part that you talked, I think we wrote down was journaling, and then you said it literally saved your life, and you shared it on the other episode quite personally.
Yeah, because I feel like, okay, the one problem with anxiety is that it's like you have this big ass list of things that you just feel like you have to do, but you haven't done, right? So like you have, okay, yeah, I need to go to the doctor, I need to do this, I need to do this. And all of a sudden you have a mountain of things in your brain that you just like don't know how to like organize, you know, you just have them all in your head and it's basically a mess. So when you write it down, the moment you start writing the list of the things you need to do, the moment you start like texting about like what exactly it is that you're feeling, in that moment, you get to resolve things easier. You can do like a step by step of what it is that you like, how it is that you can solve that little tiny problem that you have, and it just gets easier over time. You know, it's a way of like making this big ass problem little and little and little and visible. You make it visible, you make it like tangible, and you make it like organized, yeah.
So for you, like journaling is like a way to kind of dissect the whole situation,
yes,
and kind of
totally
analyze what could be done and not done, right?
Yes, totally.
But then, let's say, what if they never journal? Like what? Like I don't even know where to start, because I don't have a habit of journaling. I like to write down to-do lists and stuff. Like so how do you approach that in the practical or like a very easy way to start?
So I wouldn't even say journaling. Like for anxiety, I wouldn't even say have to wake up every day and journal. I would mostly say to just have a journal, like a journal, that you can just grab the moments where you're like most anxious, and then you can just write down a to-do list. It's very easy. But sometimes you just have this to-do list on your head and you don't even put it in paper. So it just becomes bigger and bigger, and then you just feel like you don't even know where to start. So to help you know where to start, just grab it and write it. It's really easy. You don't have to journal every day. If you want to, I think it's great. Like I would always make people like journal more often. Like that's for me, it's like the best thing you can do. But for anxiety specifically, I don't think it's necessary.
And I think this relates closely to another one that I can share is approaching it with a like problem solution / fear setting framework. And I'll elaborate that a bit more. It's like not similar to journaling, because you can either write it down or kind of think it through. How I approach it is like, okay, all these stuff, what brings me quote unquote anxiety or discomfort? Okay, write it down or try to think it through, list it out. And out of these things, do I have a solution to kind of solve that? And if I do, but not acting on it, that gives me anxiety. Because a lot of times, dude, you need to get in shape. You need to start eating this stuff, but you're not fucking doing it. That brings the anxiety to you, right? So knowing what you need to do, having the solution, but not doing it, that's one issue that people usually have. Another one is if you have a list of things that you write down, but you cannot have solutions to it, then you do the fear setting. What is the worst that could happen? Let's say, I need to be worth 10 million or X amount of number by this time, or my business needs to do X, Y, and Z. You write it down. Is there anything I can do about it? If so, then do it. And if not, let's say you do the fear setting and say, what is the worst that could happen if this outcome is not accomplished? And then the next stage is like, if so, then it's acceptance. Can you live with it? And most likely, I think we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Yeah. We talk about that a lot. Is that, I don't want to approach this person. I don't want to do this episode. I don't want to go give this card. But then it's all fucking in our head. So if you can accept what the fact and the results, like, okay, I've done all I can do. And then the rest, actually, if this doesn't happen, then you're not attached to the outcome. And that actually frees up a lot of mental space for you to be like, dude, where is this anxiousness coming from? It's fucking self-made,
Which kind of relates to our fourth point, which is understanding that you don't have control over most of the things that are happening in your life.
Yeah.
That honestly, okay, once again, we go to the beginning. Anxiety comes from the point where you feel like you need to control things and you want to control it, but everything is outside of your control. So you just become anxious because you're like, okay, I want to get $10 million in a week, but you can't get those $10 million in a week. So the moment you let go of control and you realize that the universe or God or whatever it is that you believe in is actually handling things, that is a moment where you get to be at peace and understand that you are just riding a wave. And the moment you ride the wave, things start happening the way you mostly wanted, But it's not you controlling things. It's the way that the more you let go of control, the more things start coming.
And I do want to remind people, because it's like, most things are not controllable, but if you can do control the outcome, I will encourage people to do what you can control.
Yes.
Because you cannot sit there and manifest all day and expect things to happen, because you need to take actions. Yeah. What Julia is saying is like, for things that it's out of your control, then you kind of learn how to be at peace with it,
Yes.
And what is the last one? I think it's meditation.
Okay, we have two then.
Yeah.
Okay, meditation, I would put it up with breathing, because I feel like the moment you're breathing, you're kind of going to yourself, you're meditating. Like meditation will always, for every single problem in your life, meditation will be a solution. So yes, meditation, but for people who don't know how to meditate, I would put breathing in there.
Okay.
And now the fifth one is physical activity.
Yes.
So my doctor, my psychiatrist, basically told me that in order to improve my mental health and maintain my mental health, I need exercise. It's not like, you should exercise. No. I need to exercise. If I don't exercise, my mental health goes to shit. So basically, exercising helps you release endorphins. Yeah. And endorphins help you improve your mood better. Yeah. So exercising has done that for me. It has really, really allowed me to keep balance in my emotions and anxiety.
And I would say so for some people who do not have the routine or habit of doing so, I think, again, just go back to what we talked about before. It's like surround with yourself with people that likes to do active stuff. And even though it's like playing table tennis or just doing stuff that's not quote unquote working out, or even going for a walk, that just kind of bake into your daily routines, that actually just shift, like Tony Robbins says about this, right? You want to shift your state, shift your mental state, shift your physical state. Stand up, jump, yell, or go for a run, or just kind of change the physiology, and then that actually changes your mental state.
And honestly, to have a change, you only need 30 minutes a day. Yeah. This is not a workout, go to the gym and exercise for 3 hours. No. It's much slower than that. It's if you're feeling anxious, go out and go for a walk. It will help you reduce your anxiety so much. Like, that's what I do. Like, it's really necessary. And I like breathing, like when you're about to have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, and you feel those nerves coming up and you feel everything that's just like starting to pass on, the first thing you need to do is breathe. The second thing you need to do is go out and have a walk. Then if you can, you come back and you meditate. Then you start writing up, okay, what is causing me this anxiety? What can I do about it? Can I do something about it, or can I not do something about it? If you can't, you give up, you allow it. What is the worst case possible? You accept it. And if you can do something about it, put a list of things that you can do to start. And then can pretty much assure you that your anxiety will reduce much more to the point where you were at the beginning.
And I think that's a pretty good practical steps for people to do even like daily. And I think that's a good point to wrap. And I want to remind people who are listening or watching that we're also starting Mindful Together meditation sessions. And on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Mexico, well, it's Central time zone, at nighttime and the daytime. We're going to test out different times and see how people respond to it. But just follow our stream, follow our account. We're going to stream on Instagram and TikTok. And no matter where you are in the world, you know, you might feel alone, you might feel anxious. And again, don't forget, this is a global community that helps you find peace, discover yourself so we can live better, right? So I want to start encouraging everybody to just help yourself, help each other. And starting next week, we're going to start hosting the meditation sessions.
So come join us, because honestly, like, meditating alone and meditating together is much, much different. And I love meditating with people.
Yes.
So please join us. Like, it will be amazing to have you. And let us know what you do to deal with anxiety. We'll be here reading under your comments and replying. So thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Until next time.